What's up, YouTube? So right now I'm on the 405 freeway. In case you were unfamiliar with the traffic in Los Angeles, I'll give you a little glimpse inside, so you can see what it's like driving in bumper-to-bumper traffic on the 405 freeway in Los Angeles. I drive this freeway probably every single day, and I clocked into work at 4:30 this morning, and it's 4:30 right now, and I probably won't be home or back to the yard at least for at least another hour based on the traffic. So I'm on the 405 going northbound right now, and I'm going to take the 405 to the 101 northbound. And the yard is in Chatsworth. So I'll be going back to the yard. Probably take me an hour to an hour and a half, depending on how bad this really is. So today was a long day. A lot of driving back and forth. I went to the Palisades about 3 times today, and I dropped off a bunch of different sandbags and gravel again. So it wasn't a very eventful day. It was just a lot of driving, a lot of wheel time, which is cool. I don't mind it. I actually quite enjoy it. I'm kind of not really, I don't know if introverted is the right way to describe me, but I like kind of having my alone time. And I really like and enjoy, sitting down in my truck and just sitting with my thoughts and thinking about my life and some of the mistakes that I've made in the past. There's so many things that go through my head when I sit in my truck by myself and just ponder my life and women and relationships with my friends and my family and my loved ones. Some of the poor choices that I made when I was a kid, some regrets that I have with women, things like that. This is why I'm really drawn and connected to truck driving in particular. It's because it allows me the freedom and time to just sit with my thoughts and not have to worry about a boss hovering over my shoulder, and wondering whether or not I'm being productive throughout the day. I did that before. I worked in an office before, and I sat behind a computer and sat in a cubicle, and it just wasn't for me. It really wasn't. I was going insane. Not having the ability to go outside and move my arms and my hands and my feet and not do physical work. I felt like I was just wasting my life. And sometimes I feel like that too when I drive trucks. When I have a bad day, or when I'm down, or when I'm lonely, I can get kind of low sometimes too. But for the most part, I'm past all that in my life. I'm past all that. For those of you who are wondering, I I've had my Class A commercial license for nearly 10 years now. And I've driven all different types of cargo or freight. I've driven gas. I've driven chemicals. I've driven cylinders, all different types of cylinders, like, for example, oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, liquid nitrogen. I used to deliver, I did it for years. I used to drive all throughout Los Angeles, and I would do swaps, cylinder swaps or exchanges. All the hospitals throughout Los Angeles, maybe not all of them, maybe that's a bit broad of a statement, but a lot of them. I did Cedars-Sinai Children's Hospital, many different Kaiser hospitals, USC, UCLA, a lot of surgery centers in Beverly Hills, a lot of dental or dentistry offices, I suppose. And it was great. I loved doing that job. I love doing all of those jobs. I love driving gas. I love driving chemicals. I love driving cylinders, hazmat in particular. Rolling cylinders was probably my favorite job, even though it was the most physically demanding by a long shot. I took a lot of pride in doing that. I know for a fact, when I was working for a company in Los Angeles, and we would deliver, the gas to the hospitals throughout Los Angeles, and I was doing that during COVID time, and I know for a fact that me swapping out oxygen tanks for a lot of people attributed to them still being alive. So that's something that I'm really proud of. That's something that I don't really like to talk about too much. I don't think most people would believe me if I told them about the things that I saw and experienced, and how eye-opening of an experience it was delivering oxygen to hospitals during a pandemic where people couldn't breathe. But I know for a fact that me exchanging oxygen for some patients definitely attributed to them still being alive today. I know that to be a fact. I could literally see the color go back into their face. I could see them gasping and struggling for oxygen. They literally couldn't breathe. While everyone was at home, or most were at home, I was rolling steel. I was pushing 150 to 300 pound cylinders up and down rampways at hospitals. I really loved that job. And I'll probably never forget how eye-opening of an experience that really was for me. There were some people at hospitals, delivering gas to these hospitals for years, you start to establish relationships with these people and build rapport. And, me being the flirtatious person that I am, I would often flirt with the women there, the nurses and stuff like that on the loading dock, and try to establish relationships with them, right? That's just me. That's just who I am, right? And some of those people and some of those nurses and some of my friends who I established relationships, they're not here anymore. So some people might say, oh, it was all fake and it wasn't really that bad. And they would be partially true. That would be partially correct. However, if only 1% of the population in Los Angeles passed away or died as a result, Los Angeles, that's a big number, because it's, there's millions of people that live in Los Angeles. So, and that was definitely an eye-opening experience for me. I've never experienced anything like that, and I hope I never see that again. I hope we never go through that again. That was terrible. And a lot of business owners that I would also service, I would change out, their dry ice or carbon dioxide tanks for their soda pop machines, whatever. A lot of businesses went under or failed as a result of the poor policies or mandates in Los Angeles County in particular. There were a couple of really good businesses that weren't able to make it. They went under. And COVID, the pandemic, was really the driving force. So, that was a shame as well. That was terrible. But I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change my life's experience. Going through that, it really developed me internally, and it just made me a better person in general. Made me be more appreciative of my life. Oftentimes we as humans think that the world is against us and our life is so bad, and we bitch and we moan and we complain and we cry until you experience something really bad, or until you experience someone else suffering tremendously, and then you realize how good you really have it. So I'm grateful for the experience. And again, I don't like to talk about that too much. It kind of chokes me up a little bit thinking about it. And I don't like feeling like like I'm weak. So I have a tendency to try and avoid those types of topics. But it is what it is. And that was a huge chapter in my life. And again, I wouldn't change it for a thing. Now I'm on to the next chapter in my life. This chapter consists of me driving a lot of rebar and a lot of sandbags and a lot of concrete. But I enjoy it. I enjoy what I do for a living. For most people, this would be very stressful and strenuous. You know, you have to be very, and I can be impatient, but you have to be a very patient person to do this job in Los Angeles. Because no matter how big and how strong and how much you think you're in control, you're not. You're not. You have no control over the way the earth and the traffic flows. You know, you can't control the weather. You can't control whether or not people are going to get into accidents. You can't control it. It's out of your control. And the sooner you come to terms with it, the better of a truck driver, or, you know, the sooner you'll become a better truck driver. And again, this is not for everyone. Especially if you're over the road. If you're an over-the-road truck driver, that's definitely not for everyone. That can be a very depressing job. Going out for weeks or even months at a time and driving all throughout the country. It can be beautiful visually and very stimulating visually. But if you are if you're in a depressed mindset, this can really bring you down. You start listening to sad music. You wonder if, you know, your wife or your girlfriend or your girlfriends, whatever, you know, if they're seeing other men while you're out, or if you have a child, if you have a son or a daughter, and you don't get to spend as much time with them as you would like. This will take a severe toll on your mental state. So, it can bring you down drastically. So again, it's not for everyone. Thankfully, all of the work that I do is local, and I'm home every night. I do work a lot, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. You know, it's actually quite hard. I know this is a bit off topic, but it's not very easy for me to sit here and, you know, on the freeway by myself and talk to my imaginary friend, the phone, the iPhone. It's actually quite hard to do, and you tend to just ramble, right? So if I'm not that good at it, that's why, because I'm struggling with it. I'm struggling to have a conversation with myself. And most of the time, I like to keep my thoughts and my feelings to myself. I feel like the less that people know about me, the less power or control that they can have over me. So I try to just keep to myself, and I try to, maybe it's bad, maybe it's a downfall of mine, I try to open up with the right women in my life, but that can be a challenge in itself. I definitely don't tell other men in my life about the things that I'm struggling with. I feel like those topics are more for conversations with women, and the women that I love, or the women that I'm affectionate with, or have feelings or emotions for. And that takes time for me. Some people can open up and spill the beans about their life to the first person they come across. I'm not that way. I try to be more selective. That's a little bit about me and some of the work and thoughts that I've done and things going through my head in my life and whatever, So it's probably a pretty boring conversation to have, but whatever. I'm just Cameron, and I'm just sitting here on the 405 freeway and bumper to bumper traffic, having a nice big juicy conversation with myself. So anyways, all right, I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up, and thank you again to all of the people who have subscribed to my channel and all of the wonderful comments that I get. And thank you for all of the subscribers, comments, the thumbs up, the likes, the everything. Like, I really appreciate that. Some of you guys are very thoughtful and very kind with your words, and I really do appreciate it, sincerely. So I think that's enough for today, and until next time, thank you guys, I appreciate it.